Hello, everyone. My name is Damilola, and with me today is Itunuoluwa Aderemi. She is a cybersecurity specialist, and I'll leave her to introduce herself more. All right, up to you, Itunu.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Just like you said, I'm Itunuoluwa Aderemi. I am a cybersecurity consultant, and I'm very much interested in anything that sparks up curiosity, which is why I am into cybersecurity majorly. So I'm sure within the context of this whole session, you get to know me more and you get to know what I do.
Interesting. Thank you for the brief introduction. So, I have a quick question for you. What sparked your interest in cybersecurity? Like, I know people are hearing cybersecurity here, cybersecurity there these days, but what actually sparked your interest in cybersecurity?
Okay, for me, I cannot say it's so far-fetched. It started with curiosity, right? Just like I said, I've always been the kind of person who wants to understand how certain things go by. And then I had a flair for computer literacy back in school. I just knew I wanted more out of life. I studied library and information science in school, and literally, if anybody would ask me now, more like I can't say I wasted 4 years, but then felt like if I had known, I would have just started at this cybersecurity part, right? But I just knew I wanted more out of life. I wanted more out of digital library, physical library, and the like. So it just made sense to want to go into cybersecurity. Although it didn't even start with cybersecurity for me. I explored so many options before I was able to find the perfect niche for me, which was cybersecurity. Okay, so after my final papers in school, I just like I said, I was very interested in doing something else. I wanted something out of the box, something that would set my feet on the ground. So I went to one of my lecturers, majorly, to advise me on what to do, what not to do, how to go into tech in quotes. And he advised that okay, I can start with data science or data analytics, which was a very good one. We had a department in my school that handles that. So he linked me up with certain persons and I started learning one or two from them. I also got to do some online courses and the likes. But then I was not finding it very easy. It was quite a thing for me because I felt like if I don't find something interesting right from the get go, it's going to take a lot of work and effort from me. So one of the major issues I had was coding. I had to learn about Java, Python, a lot of all those coding, whatever. And I wasn't even the type. I didn't even want to see anything coding. It wasn't an area for me that I liked at all. So it just made sense that I didn't even end up in those areas because I don't know what would have become of me right now. So over the after a while, I had to speak with one of my uncles and I was crying. Stephanie, I was like, "Ah, God, I don't know what to do." It felt like I was probably failing, even right from the get go. So he advised, he said I should try to check other tech courses. It's not just about data science or data analytics. That I could do so many other things. He gave me a list of other courses to do, asked me to go on research and give him a feedback on what I decide to do. So I went on that. It gave me about 13 courses. And at the end of the day, I think cybersecurity just was just it for me. It felt like, okay, it did not require me to do so much of coding, did not require me to do a lot of all other things and then the fact that I was a female, I'm a female. It just gives me a leverage, right? Because a lot of people are not so much in, a lot of women are not so much in cybersecurity and I'm the type that would always want to stand out wherever I am. So, yes, that was a perfect one for me to explore.
Interesting. Thank you for the apt answer. I really loved your answer. It gave a very good background to how your journey has been from the fact that you studied library and what again?
Information science.
Yeah, library and information science in university, and pivoting into the tech space could be very, very tricky. Given the fact that you don't have any technical background, and you were not, and from that journeying into different parts or different sectors in tech for you to find this area that you're in today. Would you ever stop cybersecurity?
Not anytime soon. I mean, I could explore other options, but it would definitely be in tech. And of course, cybersecurity might just be related to AI, you know. So, yeah, but definitely cybersecurity.
So, if I would ask you now that, what was that big challenge you encountered when you started cybersecurity? Like, what was that exact, like the one big challenge that you faced? What was it?
For me, I would say finding the perfect knowledge or gaining perfect, I don't know how best to put it, but to be finding the perfect community majorly, because cybersecurity is not a one-way thing. It's not something you can just learn all by yourself. I mean, you can try, use all platforms online and the likes, but really you need a community. You need a perfect community that would help you grow. You might be making some errors even alongside, but you would not be able to tell if you're just on your own. So finding the perfect community can be very challenging because we don't really have so much people that are really interested in, cybersecurity or just doing it. And some people are just doing it just for the fun of it. Oh, I just want to make money out of it. Some people are not actually interested. They don't have their interest. They don't have that interest. There's a different thing when you have a drive, a purpose you want to achieve from something than just doing it because of, oh, I want to make more money. I'm just doing it because I want to elevate my financial whatever. So I feel like the community was a very big challenge for me. I mean, at some point when I started out, I had like a session. One of my friends that was taking me on but he was taking a few of us on the basics of cybersecurity. Then I thought I knew something. It was until I got into the system properly before I knew that nothing. I didn't know Jack. But then
Wow.
I just feel like having the right community really helps and it can be
Hmm.
a big challenge.
Wow, interesting. Community is essential for growth. I believe so too. And I mean, what was the challenge you faced in the community you later joined? I mean, was there like a gender issue or a imposter syndrome where you felt like I don't know anything or something?
Okay, so what I would say was the big challenge for me was the fact that I didn't know so much. I didn't come from a networking background. I wasn't a computer student in school. So, migrating from whatever it is that you studied into that, I mean, for starters, it could be a bit of challenge, but over time, I'm sure you just get your foot right.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I really agree with you. So why compliance and why policy and compliance? Why zero trust? Why that particular area?
Um, okay. For starters, there are different aspects of cybersecurity. So it now depends on your own area of interest, right? So for me, just like I said earlier, I wasn't interested in anything coding or coding related. I was not interested in that. I just wanted something subtle. I mean, not so technical, and then something that I can easily relate with, I can express myself with. And I feel like compliance just encompasses that for me. Like, it just makes it easy for me. Compliance, majorly, is just ensuring that organizations comply to some specific standards, and
Hmm.
it deals with policies, procedures, and the like. So of course, there are a bit of technicalities here and there, but that's not to eradicate the fact that it does not essentially require coding. Yeah. So
Oh, okay, interesting. So what is the common misconception about compliance, cybersecurity compliance, and all that? What do you think is, like for companies? Please, I would like you to touch for companies and for individuals. What's the common?
Okay, so a lot of companies think that once you are compliant, it guarantees that you are secure. Your company is now cybersecurity safe. But then compliance is just the starting point, it's not the finish line. And cybersecurity is a journey, it is not a destination. So it has to be that you are always on the run. You are ticking the boxes, you are ensuring that you are not open to attacks at every point in time. I mean, it goes beyond the fact that oh, we are compliant this year, oh, up until the next time we are getting compliant is next year again, and you're back to square one. So
Hmm.
most organizations think that once they are compliant to specific standard during the period of time, they are secure, which is totally wrong. You still need to put in measures in place to ensure that your company is consistently secure.
Interesting. And for individuals, what do you think is the misconceptions they have about compliance?
They feel like I don't really need to do so much. What's there? Nobody's looking out for my information. Nobody's looking out for anything that pertains to me. Why should I be secured? In fact, some people will even tell you that is it not my phone? Is it not my data? Why should I be secure? I mean, I have my password. I know my password. I can always repeat it, but they don't really understand the in depth of these things because most of the time some applications that you use, you don't know what they are recording, you don't know the informations they have of you that they can even sell to hackers, but because you just feel oh it's just on your phone, or I can do anything I like, I'm able to like see what is happening and I can to some extent prevent whatever it is. But a lot of people feel like they can just gallivant around and do anything and not be intentional about being secure. I mean, as an individual. So I would just say that they should try as much as possible to be conscious of whatever it is that is going on around them. Because even in fact, some things do not even require you to do so much. It will just
Hmm.
pop up on your screen, and once you click OK or something, you never can tell what it's stealing out of you. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like that's a major
And I
misconception.
share your ideology because I've had conversations with some people where basically they'll just be like, I'm not rich, so why should I change my password every month or every
Exactly.
3 months?
I don't have anything in my
Who,
account. They will even
yeah,
tell
who
you
is
that how much is in my
coming for
account.
me?
Exactly.
And I always tell them this that there is something we call the long game. Hackers who want to really make it will wait for you to be rich. They will engage in penetration and they gain access to your entire data or your entire fortune in just few seconds
Absolutely.
because they've actually been waiting for you to get rich. You telling me that I'll become a trillionaire in 10 years if I can just wait for a certain number of people to become rich? Trust me, I'll wait. So, um, basically, that is something I feel like is very important for people to, not only feel like companies and businesses are the ones that are meant to be compliant
Mhm.
in securing their data or their information, but themselves. And I remember when I was going through some training with Homeland Security, we did something related to industrial control systems and all that. And we also touched on how that cybersecurity, people in I mean, in a company, we can go through the janitor or someone who is the clerk or at the front desk just
Mhm.
to bring down the entire company, maybe by performing some social engineering to get the
Call.
email. After gaining access to the email, sending and going up and up in the food, I said food chain, in the company chain, and then getting to the CEO. Eventually, the
Right.
CEO comes online and tell you wire this so amount into this
Of
foreign account.
course.
You guys did, and boom. So everyone in the company
But
is important. That's one of the message you just said now that don't think cybersecurity. You said don't think cybersecurity is a destination, it's a journey. So very important
yes.
quote for people to know. It's a journey, not a destination. So people are constantly trained in the company, new employees, constant cybersecurity training. And I don't know if you share this insight with me actually. Like in Nigeria, I don't know really, but from what I've seen so far, there are not a lot of companies that engage in cybersecurity trainings for their employees. So it's very, very sad to see that happening, and I don't know what they are doing about it. I mean, banks should do that, even corporate businesses. I don't know, like almost all businesses dealing with clients and data should actually engage in cybersecurity. What do you think about that cybersecurity training for their employees?
Yeah, so one of the major points I would like to make is the fact that security actually starts with the individual, right? And in as much as there are organizations out there that do not necessarily deal with payment card processing, data or whatnot, they don't have to deal with anything card order related data and the likes. There is still the part of insider threats, especially the intentional ones, even the unintentional ones too. Many breaches happens not through sophisticated hackers, but through the people that are very careless with their clicks, with their configurations, emails, anything. So it could be anybody. And it doesn't even necessarily have to deal with a company that is related to finance or has anything to do with card order data, just like I said. It can be any organization, especially for organizations that are even now financial institutions. They have to be extra careful because at the end of the day, the company's reputation is at stake. If anything happens, I mean, it can happen with anybody. It can happen. The click can come from even the clerk, even the front desk officer. It can come from anywhere. So there is actually very need for them to ensure that there is consistent awareness sessions. They need to be sure that they are secure. Even the CEO sometimes needs to be checked. That's why it is very necessary to at least would always advise companies to ensure that they carry out awareness session quarterly. Not because of anything, but over the time a lot of people forget things and humans are the first layer when it comes to attacks. We are the first people, we are the first. You understand what I mean? So if
Yeah.
anything is coming, it's still the humans that are in charge that eventually clicks on those things.
Mm.
That is why it is necessary for them to always ensure that cybersecurity awareness is in place. It just helps to maintain trust, at least to some extent. Remind people, constant reminder helps them to, oh, I'm seeing this, then this is not right. When they are seeing examples that, okay, this is an example of what we were taught, oh, let me not go and click on it. Oh, do you get it? Will constant, and then there's something that we are also trying to inculcate now. For every click, you are getting a fine. If companies can put that out, that okay, if you fail this awareness session, or if there is a phishing mail that goes out, like okay, this is a test mail that goes out, right? And you click on it, then you fall victim of it, you are getting fined. A lot of people will sit up, a lot of people will take it up as a responsibility to always ensure that they are secure and they are also securing the company's image. So I believe that that security awareness is very, very essential for companies.
Wow, interesting. Thank you for that insight. I think companies should just make sure they do that, fine or sanction the employees who you know who just pick or just go ahead to click on emails that are not meant to, or just fall victim of a in-house attack and all that. All right, so the next question I have for you is quite interesting. From buying a new phone to accessing some mobile apps on your phone or a laptop, you get this long policy list that policy text that you need to go through. And most of us, we just do what? We just scroll up, then click on
Scroll
agree.
to the end and just, oh yeah.
Then I click on agree. So yeah, I still did it today actually. I'm a cybersecurity engineer. I did it today and I couldn't just bear to read it. it's wasting my time and it's waste my time. So I just went ahead and just skipped through. So my question to you is how do we make it relatable to users? I mean, on the user aspect, what do you think, it's compliance, like they need to understand how their data is being utilized and what they can be able to access, and all that. But then again, how can users get to understand the long text thingy and yet have
Mhm.
option to opt out of the ones that are not, applicable to them or the ones they don't want?
Okay. So I think it's just most of the companies in question, they do it intentionally. I mean, making those long texts because they know that a lot of people have just minimal attention span, right? They know that once they are not, they'll just click agree. And most of those content actually I mean, a lot of us do that, but most of those content carries policies that even us, if we are being sued at any point in time, we cannot vindicate ourselves because at the end of the day, we agreed, we consented to it.
Yeah.
And one of the major thing when it comes to cybersecurity is your consent. Once you consent to a thing, it's very difficult for you to retract and say, "Oh no, I didn't say this." So I feel like what should be done majorly is they should reduce the long text, probably put it in ways that are very explanatory, put it in layman English that are well explanatory, something that we can just, of course, there are pointers. Oh, this, if you agree to this, do you get? Then if you agree to this, tick the boxes. Know what you are actually putting your details on. Some people are even selling out your information, all because you consented. But how are you even going to know? Because you didn't read it. And because, oh, I need the application, I need the app as fast as possible. Let me just quickly click agree. And that's it. So we are doing more harm to ourselves than good if we are being realistic. But then these companies too, they also have their own fair share. And that is trying to make it all cumbersome for us to read. So most of the time, they need to ensure that all these things are very short, precise, not all that plenty grammar, all those sophisticated English. So they need to just outline it in ways that are easy for people to comprehend. And then I know that over time, people will be able to see that, what's okay, what if they say you are going to, if you default at any point, you are paying us the sum of 300 million naira. Where I want to see that one. So people need to actually know the content of what is there. So they need to specify in ways that, but then they know that we will not read. That is the problem.
Yeah.
So that's just my input.
Okay, interesting. What's one underrated cyber threat businesses should be taking seriously right now? I mean, for me, I'm thinking in two ways now. I'm thinking businesses in Africa and businesses in the West because there is a huge technology gap between the two. So what are the underrated cyber threats in, let's say, in Africa, maybe Nigeria first, then we'll go to the yeah.
Okay, so I'll mention a few, right? But then I think one of the major ones, one underrated one, is insider threats. Some staffs are disgruntled, they, maybe somebody in the organization has pissed them off at some point and they're looking for payback. They're looking to get money out of the organization. Do you get? They can even sell out the organization. I mean, sell information about the organization, send data to hackers that would penetrate into the system, and that's literally the end. Okay, take for instance, you are a cybersecurity engineer. Okay, let me not use you, but then there's a staff that is a cybersecurity engineer. He knows the vulnerabilities, he knows everything about the organization, he knows where the hacker can penetrate, how the hacker can even cover his own track in that sense. Do you get? And he gives out those information to the hackers. Okay, number one, it cannot be traced back to him in any way, but the company is at loss because at the end of the day, you act as if, oh, he doesn't know anything. They are all in the whole situation together. But in one way or the other, he has sold the data, he has sold the information of the organization to an hacker. And this thing is not even, is not far fetched. The other thing is deactivation of accounts, right? Deactivation of access. There are people that have left the organization. Most people, most companies, even in Africa, there was a particular organization I worked for before my current job role. At some point, I still had access to certain things right on my phone. Number one, I left the organization already. I'm not supposed to have access to them. I can easily manipulate certain things because I still have access. A lot of organizations overlook that side. They feel like, oh, the person has gone, he has submitted their laptops, their information, and the likes. But you never can tell what information they still harbor. You never can tell what data, what application they can still access, username, password, and the likes that they have. What if they even still have somebody that is working there? What if they have the person's username, the person's password, and can still use that same access? So all of these things are easily overlooked, right? They are most of the underrated cyber threats, and especially phishing. When it comes to phishing, a lot of people click on baits, different kind of baits too, because when it comes to phishing, nobody is I know it all. In that sense, you can feel like, oh, this thing looks very enticing, right? Maybe I should just give it a try. And before you know it, you are gone. And you're not
Yeah,
only gone, everybody, the organization too is at
it's
loss.
gone.
So
Yeah.
those are those are some of the underrated cyber threats that businesses need to take very serious.
Like you said, you mentioned where the situation where an employee is angry at the boss or something and they just want to get revenge and all that. I saw a news recently. Was he CIA negotiator? I'm not so sure. But this dude usually negotiates with people asking for ransom from companies, right? So this guy who helps negotiate and he got caught recently for actually
Imagine.
setting some so he set up some negotiation. I mean, he got the hackers to so that he would also benefit from the whole scheme. And he got caught recently.
Exactly.
And it can be really sad in that particular scenario that these things can happen, and
Mm-hmm,
it impairs trust, companies' trust, even
mm-hmm.
trust in the government. Because when attacks happen, companies are meant to, notify the government, so the government
Mm-hmm.
can also be able to mitigate and also know that the attack has not spread to other industries or
Yeah,
industrial control
very true.
system. Yeah, because um, countries lose trillions, billions of dollars, you know,
Yes,
from.
so
So Nigeria, I saw recently, lost in was it 2023? Nigeria lost 400 billion naira to cyber attacks.
oh,
So even more now, which is crazy, and we don't
yes.
really know
Some are not
that
even
this.
recorded.
Yeah, we don't even know these things are even happen, but it happens. Nigeria loses a lot of money to cyber threats per year, and that's really sad that they don't. People don't really talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you walk us through? Can you walk us through a real world example of a phishing or social engineering case that's left an impression on you? I don't know if you have ever experienced that, but yeah.
Okay, so there was a very funny experience that we had in our organization. So someone from nowhere came and posed as the HR of the organization and sent a mail to one of our emails online. And automatically, I think most of us got it, saying all the details. Like, it felt really good. It felt like, why did we have an HR official email? I mean, if there are things that are going on, we know within ourselves. So it felt as though something really big was coming. But trust me, if we were not to be a cybersecurity organization, we might have fallen bait. At least one or two people out of us would have fallen bait of that.
Mm,
And honestly, we even see situations whereby companies, I mean, we even trick companies now. I mean, we're cybersecurity, my company, the company I work for is a cybersecurity consulting firm. And we trick companies. Of course, we are working for them professionally. So we kind of like outline, we do some sort of tests on their staffs to ensure that okay they are aware of phishing attacks and the likes. A lot of them literally steal clicks. Is it that they want to win laptop, iPad, or they want to win one money or iPhone or something very even ridiculous? Some people can even say, "Oh, you just want yourself a car, a stuff," and you will see people click on them, and you will wonder, did you even work for these things? Why are you clicking for something that you do not work for? Is car going to fall down from heaven? Like, it's actually very funny. But a lot of people actually do these mistakes because, of course, who doesn't like thing? Who doesn't want the best out of life? And the
Mm.
whole essence of working is just to ensure that you are financially liberated, right? So a lot of people, that bait, or when it comes to money or material things that actually gets at people, they are very, very quick to clicking those informations. So by the time they realize it, the money is gone, their information is gone. This can even lead to further manipulative social engineering. It can even pry on their trust and secrecy. The organization's data too. They can lock you out of your system in one way or the other. And you don't even have
Mm-hmm.
access to it. And the company has to pay
Yep.
ransom just to get your informations back. So all of these things are very true and realistic examples that we need to actually consider.
Thank you so much for that. That's a very good example. And I believe a lot of people can relate to that. I mean, I want to also know what is the typical example, or what would you say a small team or a startup, how can they build their own security culture? They're a early business and they're trying to just start up. They don't have so much money to hire a consulting firm like yours. What are the
Okay.
things they should pay attention to?
So I would say that really just start small but be consistent, right? Most of the big ops, the big organizations you see out there is because their inner circles, the small when they started as small units, 1, 2, 3 people, they did not circulate this thing. They did not make it a part of them. So when they grew big, of course, a lot of people will forget. They will not be so invested in what they are doing in the culture. So once you start a culture early, consistent with it, make sure that cybersecurity is part of your onboarding. Ensure that people understand password policy, clear screen policies, basic tools, the use of basic tools like MFA, password manager. Ensure that what's it called? Awareness sessions are made. You know that okay, you cannot afford the big companies yet coming to validate your organization. But within yourselves, carry out tests. Try to see who would even click on those links. Try to see what or who would fall victim. Ensure that there are strict fine attached. A lot of people will not want to waste their money, so they will be more careful. But if you are not paying for a thing, you will definitely just ignore most of the time. But as small as you are, ensure that you are consistent with what you're doing. The practices that you are following, ensure that you're consistent with them. Clear screen policy, the use of MFA, ensure that you're using password manager. Don't repeat your password on your personal account for your business account. Ensure that you're changing all of these things. You can use a password manager to safeguard all of those information. Do you get? So you don't necessarily have to like cloud it up. Because if an attacker gets an information on one application, maybe your password on a particular application, and they duplicate it for other applications, and it's the same thing, then you're gone. So it even has to start with personal lives. Advise your
Mm.
your staff to ensure that they do these things, they carry out these things, even with their own personal life, before they can even inculcate it into the business or the organization itself. So with that, over time, and then there is something we actually ignore: the use of public Wi-Fi's too. It is very essential. Even if you are trying to or you want to use a public Wi-Fi, use it over a VPN. A lot of people will just say, "Oh, it's free internet. Let me quickly." So you don't know what the back end is are all about. You don't know what people are doing at the back end. So you have to be very, very careful.
There are a lot of wisdom in what you just said, and I hope our listeners would really take heed to these things. Me, really hoping they take it to it. So tell me, you're a woman, you're in cybersecurity, and
Mm.
you're really making it good. And there is a lot of enough track record, to see how great you are in the industry. And what advice would you give someone to who is trying to enter cybersecurity space, especially a woman, like women out there?
So, what I would say is erase whatever bias you have in your head. Who says you cannot be who you want to be? Or because you're a woman, why do you feel limited? Why do you feel like you can't do it? No, you can. Maybe for me, I like to stand out. I mean, not, but then I know that I like to stand out. And it's as little as there is a cloth out there or a designer bag, shoe out there, everybody is getting. As long as it is all around that design, I will not buy it. I would rather go for something that is not so common. So for me, I believe in simplicity, but then I also believe in strategic positioning. Know where you are going to be valued, right? If cybersecurity is what you want to do, go for it. Be intentional about what you want to do. Don't have that bias that, oh, I'm a lady, or would I have my foot here? No, you can do it. You can be anything or anyone you want to be. So you just have to put your mind at it. You have to be determined, you have to be focused, you have to know exactly what you want and what you want to get out of it. Because if you are not sure of what you want to get out of it, you just keep the cycle going. You just keep having try and error, but you have to know what you want. So you need to make that decision and you have to make it now. So don't think you are limited or you are restricted to certain things just because you are a woman. In fact, it gives you more leverage. Just because you're a woman gives you more leverage, especially in cybersecurity. They feel like, oh, you're a woman. Ah, I salute you. I encourage you. So you should even do it. That should even spring up your interest the more. You should be able to say, oh yes, I need to do this. And you don't have to code. You don't have to code. Cybersecurity has many parts. It has different aspects. It has compliance, it has GRC, it has awareness, policies, forensics, and the likes. Find what clicks on you. Find what you really want. Show up consistently. Build a community for yourself and never underestimate your voice, your values. No, don't do that. So, what I would just say to round up is that women bring perspective into the industry, so you don't have to limit yourself at all.
Absolutely. We perspective into the industry. I love that. What book or resources would you recommend for someone trying to get into cybersecurity, or something you've read before that really just helped you out, at some point?
Okay, so I mean, I read quite a number. Or I would say I watched quite a number of videos, so I can say resources. I did quite a number of courses online, but then one particular book on cybersecurity really struck my interest. The Art of Deception by Kelvin Mitnick or so. Yeah, The Art of Deception. So I think it's timely and it shows how human cybersecurity really is. It just shows what you should know about cybersecurity. So I feel like it's really a good book to start with. And then
Yeah,
courses online and the like.
yeah, I agree with you. It touches on psychology as well,
Yeah.
social engineering, and likes. So yeah, it's a really good book. Most overrated cybersecurity buzzword. What is like the most overrated cybersecurity buzzword that when
Mm,
you hear it, you're just like overrated?
okay. I would say the concept of what should I even say that? Maybe, let me just say encryption. There's a way they project it as something
I
very
think I understand what
super.
you like end-to-end encryption, and yeah, it's encrypted, so it can never be decrypted. I think I agree with you. It's
There
actually
are so
really
many things
overrated.
going on.
I
Actually,
don't know.
it is.
I know encryption is cool, like it's real, but nah, man, come on, who are you deceiving?
Who said
Anyway,
who said you cannot?
do you get one cybersecurity habit everyone should adopt today? What should that be?
Password now. Password to do that. you can use past MFA. Run out of I cannot want to run out of words on that.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you so much, Itunuoluwa. We are so grateful to have you on this call. For anyone who wants to reach you, where can they reach you?
Yeah,
All
me.
right. So yeah, I do. So everyone, LinkedIn, Itunuoluwa Aderemi. She'll be waiting for
Yeah,
your messages. Try out as much as possible to reach out, questions, and she'll be ready to answer you. I'm sure she'll be ready to answer.
yeah.
So thank you so
In fact, I
much
have
for
questions.
the call.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll be happy to have you again really soon, actually. There you'll be talking to people. Maybe we'll even have like a presentation thingy where you get
Okay.
to present to people about, and really teach people about policy and compliance, especially for businesses and separately for individuals. So I think we'll have two more sessions with you really soon. Thank you so much. We are grateful.